Hello everybody and welcome to the 26th running of Petit Le Mans at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, as part of our celebration of sports car and endurance racing that's been going on here just outside Braselton since 1998. We've got Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup. It's going to be two races this weekend, which will decide both the rookie and the overall championship. This is a classic natural terrain road circuit, just over 2.5 miles around. The awesome turn one, off the throttle, down a gear, flat out over the top of the brow, down through the S's, overtaking a possibility at turn 6. The ever difficult turn 7 looks easy on paper, but you don't race it on paper. It's really tightens a little bit more than you think, and then charging down the hill to turn 10, which is another overtaking manoeuvre. Very late braking there in the Mazda MX-5 Cup cars. Alongside me, John Hindhaugh, in the Global Broadcast Centre is Shay Adam, and we come to this championship deciding weekend, Shay, with both championships still not decided.
It is possible that the championship overall could be clinched today. Not probable, and especially since our pole sitter is Aaron Johnson, second in the championship, 280 points behind his team owner and teammate Jared Thomas, who starts right behind him. Jared, if he outscores Aaron Johnson by 100 points in this race, cannot be caught. But Aaron Johnson was looking to do everything in his power to make sure that he gains as many points as possible.
So the cars are about to fire up just a little bit, about a minute's time before they get on to the circuit. And we are almost ready to get the penultimate race of the season underway for Mazda MX-5 Cup. Before we go, let's do a little bit of housekeeping, because announced earlier this week, Shay, a extension of the current partnerships for this championship.
3 more years for Idemitsu and Anderson Productions with this Mazda Cup as it is, and the cars now rolling out of the pit lane to begin their pace lap. But very exciting times ahead for Mazda.
Which, if it is not broke, do not try to re-engineer it, to paraphrase a well-known word, well-known phrase or saying. Let's take a look at the starting grid set in qualifying just earlier on today. Aaron Johnson on pole position in the number 24 car, challenging for the championship. He's got the 10 points, which has reduced the lead to the 96 car behind him. That is the championship leader. So Johnson and Roland on the pole and front row. Then it's Jared Thomas and Gonzalez on the second. Nate Cicero's the best of the rookies. Then it is Connor Zilic on the outside of row 3. Gresham Wagner and Robert Noaker on row 4. Jean Jodouin and Hernan Palermo make up the 5th row and the top 10. Alex Bashura and Thomas Annunziata are on row number 6. Thomas, I think, a little disappointed that our qualifying ended early with a red flag. He had been quickest in the morning free practice session before that. 2 rookies next up, Grant West and Jeremy Fletcher, with Woody Hyman and Peter Atwater on row number 8. Row 9, Ben Keating for Saito Motorsport Group. Yes, that Ben Keating, Le Mans winning Ben Keating, the latest driver from other forms of motorsport who's trying his hands, feet, and all his other senses, to be honest, in Idemitsu Mazda MX-5. Heather Hadley alongside in 18th. Then it's Jonathan Neudorf, Christian Hodenland, new to the championship. Welcome back to Sally Mott and to Joe Rainey, who are in positions 21 and 22. In 23rd position for Robert Noaker Racing is Brian Heitman, Bailey Cruz, Julian DaCosta in 24th and 26th. Max Opalski down in 27th position. Anthony McIntosh caused the red flag, so he lost his fast times. He will be able to put in a lap time for grid 2 for the second race in this race, but for this one he'll start in 27th of 28 with Farhan Siddiqui for Hickson in 28th position. Not sure I saw Farhan on the grid.
keep an eye on Max Sapolsky. Definitely feels as if he got the short end of the stick in qualifying. Damage to the front of the car, not able to set a fast lap, but very good racer. So watch that number 2. Oh, and a spin before the green flag even waves. That was further back in the field. Can't tell which car it is, but the green flag is out, and we are racing.
We went green, did we?
We did, and it is a battle between Aaron Johnson. Oh, it's the number 32 who went around.
That's Christian Hodenland.
It is. Aaron Johnson, very strong start, manages to hang on to the lead, and Celine Roland shuffled back to 3rd. In 2nd, it's Jared Thomas, and then 4th, there is a very tight battle between Tyler Gonzalez and Connor Zilic, already up inside the top 5.
So 45 minutes on the clock as they came to the line, and their leader in that number 24 car.
FCY is out.
That's Aaron Johnson leads. We have got the inevitable caution.
And now Hodenland is able to get moving and pulls back onto the racing line. He can't get to the pit lane from where he was stopped. His skirt on the left-hand side is hanging down, as is the right rear of the bumper. Let's see what happened to just spin him around. Was it an untimely nudge from the rear? Oh, he got sandwiched.
Yeah. The boot lid popping up there as well. Now, obviously, hasn't been able to get restarted. Looked like there might have been a little bit of... Oh, has got restarted.
Yep, as soon as the yellow came out. Never fails. But after those first 2 sectors, Aaron Johnson with the best sector 2 time, he was pulling away a little bit. But Jared Thomas up into 2nd. That was a really good start from Jared, who just needs to make sure that he leaves today's race with the 380 points gap. It's 280 right now. If it were to stay as it is, the gap would close by another 30 points. Actually, no, I lie, because Johnson would take the points for leading the most laps. That's another 10 bonus points, so that would close the gap by 40 points.
So, who was it who gave him the nudge? It might have been Ben Keating, you know. No, it's further back. I was looking in the wrong part of the grid. My apologies. So who was directly behind him?
It kind of looks like Peter Atwater's car, the number 26.
Well, let's see if Race Control, they'll be having a look at it. They tend to look at all of the starts anyway. So Shea, Adam and John Hindhoff, and we'll keep an eye on what's going on here. So not the start to the race that we were hoping for. This has been, once again, one of the most entertaining championships that IMSA put on for us this season, and they will continue to administer the championship and run the championship, runs under their auspices. That will continue for the foreseeable future. I can tell you now, it is meal time here for the other championships at Motil Petit Le Mans, and everybody has scrambled to find a screen and grabbed a go box to go and sit and watch this.
Well, and I would like to throw a gauntlet out to every other driver, because we have had Parker Kligerman and James Hinchcliffe before as guest drivers. Ben Keating this weekend, by far the most accomplished race car driver that we have had running in this series. If you look at championships earned and major race wins, so anybody else wants to come and challenge of Ben's level or above, come and join us. Please join our B pilots.
Well, we know that 1 or 2 IndyCar drivers were impressed with what they saw from Parker and indeed from James Hinchcliffe as well when he came into the championship. We're going back to green, been pretty quick. Well done to our crew in Race Control. So Aaron Johnson in the blue number 24 leads them back to the green flag. It is a single file start, but we've already got 4 MX-5s across the track as they go into the first corner. Now, we might get 3 wide through one. We did get 3 wide through turn one. Shea Adam was holding her breath there as we've still got side by side at the top of the hill with Robert Neuer in the black and white number 13 having to drop back in there. That's for round about 7th and 8th position.
And he was battling with Gresham Wagner, a guy who gives no quarter.
That's the green and orange car right ahead. Coming through turn 5 now. That's the battle from Wagner, Neuer, Wagner, Jordan, Palermo for the top 10. Thomas Annunziata has moved 1 place further forward from his starting position. He had a quick car earlier in the week, so expect to see Annunziata going forward on the timing tower and on the timing screens. At the front of the field, there are 5 cars, line astern. This is absolutely as we expect. These 5 cars will try and work together. The drivers will... Now, let's see if there is a pass for position. It's teammates first and second with Aaron Johnson and his team leader behind him, but down the inside, not playing the team game. That's Hickson Motorsports' Celine Roland going through from 3rd to 1st in one fell swoop. Now, if these guys start fighting, what happens? What happens is the rest of the cars start closing up from behind.
But that was a team game because he was pushed to the lead by his teammate Connor Zilich, who's back again for Hickson Motorsports this weekend. 1 goal in mind, that's win the race. But it didn't take very long before the 2 JTR cars are back out front. And Aaron Johnson will be credited. No, he won't. Celine Roland credited with leading that lap.
Yeah, as he came back through. So Johnson back in the lead in the blue car, then the JTR team leader and team owner. So Johnson, Roland, Thomas, Gonzalez, Connor Zilich next up in the number 72 in 5th position. Gonzalez is the mostly white car in 4th position. Then the darker colour car behind the 72 of Connor Zilich. Then the black and white number 13 of Noah again. And off has gone Ben Keating at 5. Now, he's got a punctured right rear tyre. There's been contact with something. Definite damage there on that number 19.
Very important to note as well, for the Rookie of the Year battle, it has changed position on the racetrack. Annunziata has gotten ahead of Nate Cicero, the McCumbee-Mackler car, with an issue earlier in full practice too. Something wrong with the gearbox for them then. They did change it. They thought it's all fixed, but maybe not everything is okay for Nate Cicero.
Live action from the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup for 2024. 1 more race after this one. Championship on the line. Still just under 38 minutes to go. We've stayed green. Ben Keating just beyond the gravel at turn 5 at the end of the S's. The leaders coming down through the final corner to cross the line now and head towards the first corner. Aaron Johnson with his team leader right behind him. The yellow FIA-approved roll cage. That's the championship leader. We have never had a repeat winner in Idemitsu Mazda MX-5, let alone, of course, we've never had consecutive winners. That would be a new record if Jared Thomas in that dark red number 96 car can take it again this year. Jared has used the championship winnings that he has had over the past few years to establish JTR as a real force in this championship, and has branched out and bought himself a GT4 car as well, which they have been dipping their toe in the water of the Michelin Pilot Challenge, still in the IMSA paddock. And Jared and his dad running that business between them and really showing what a difference the cash, and it is cash, that can be won in this championship can make to a young driver or a young businessman stroke driver who wants to make his way in this motorsport paddock.
Ben Keating into the pit lane, by the way, as the incident that involved him is under review. Taking a sneak peek is Celine Roland, thinking about making that move from 3rd to 1st again. Thinking better of it, though, with Tyler Gonzalez behind him this time instead of his teammate Connor Zilich. But now he and Connor are reunited because Tyler gets a little bit wide, and they're too wide coming through turn 12. Can Gresham Wagner keep it together? He did, and he's side by side this time with Tyler Gonzalez.
Tyler Gonzalez in the white car held the outside line. White car with the green stripe down the bonnet, down the hood at the front of the field. Still the blue number 24, Aaron Johnson. that leads. Looks like there's a new second place car. There is. It's 87 coming through again. Celine Roland for Hickson. 2 JTRs, 2 Hicksons at the front of the field. Then Gresham Wagner in the multicoloured number 5 car for Spark. Tyler Gonzalez, teammate to Ben Keating in that white with the green hood stripe. Then Robert Noaker in the 13 for Robert Noaker Racing. Remember, we had 5 cars ahead by 4 or 5 cars lengths not so long ago. The top 10 pretty much together now, down to actually the 12. That's Jeremy Fletcher in the second of the white cars, who's within striking distance. This is the story. If you're new to Idemitsu Mazda MX-5, number one, where have you been all season? Really, you've missed some cracking racing. We've been asked to try and pick our overtake of the year. There's got to be 10 candidates in every race. Not even sure that was serious when people were asking us to do that.
This is terrible news for Jared Thomas, though, because the way that the pack is shaped up, it has dropped him back, as now he is using the tow from the 2 Hickson Motorsports cars to drag past Aaron Johnson from 1st to 4th, potentially even 5th by the end of this lap. And our leader now, is that Connor Zilich? Or no, it is Celine Roland.
It is Celine. Yeah, Celine Roland with the 72 of Connor Zilich, teammate behind. First time our championship leader has been ahead of his championship challenger in this race. That's the number 96 car that leads the championship. Defending champion from 2022. Think back to that. He did not know he was champion at the end of the race. A post-race penalty for a car that was not involved in the championship fight was enough to give Jared Thomas the championship win by the smallest of margins. So, number of laps led, fastest laps, pole positions, all those bonus points here, Adam, absolutely crucial.
They do, and thinking back to a year ago, the guy who was just beaten out to the championship is the guy who's just ahead of Jared Thomas on the racetrack. That is Connor Zilich. Connor not doing a full season in this championship this year, still up within the top 10 as far as points are concerned, and that means that he will get a check tomorrow night at the banquet if he can stay there. So Celine Roland leading the way, very happy to be out front, but he knows that the threat is coming because JTR are still together. Not
even through the first 1/3 of the 45-minute contest. IMSA Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup at the place where it all started for the reincarnation of IMSA back in 1998. The Hickson teammates swap around, and this time Connor Zilich will lead across the line. Something in the region of, I don't know, what was that, 6 or 7 cars went through nose to tail, across the line, underneath commentary position and down towards turn 1.
That doesn't actually help Hickson, though, because now the leading the most laps tally swings back towards Aaron Johnson. He's led 4 laps. Celine Roland led 2. Now Zilich has 1. So if it comes down to a 1-lap difference for Roland getting the point or not, well, he's not going to get it because of his teammate.
Just going to mention Tyler Gonzalez again in that white car with the green stripes on it. There's some other colours on it as well, but it's generally speaking, it's white and green. He's sitting in 5th in the number 35 car. Just watching the way that car is actually tracking around the circuit, he looks quite comfortable at the moment, and he's not making any silly moves. Best of the rookies, by the way, Nate Cicero in 8th, but Thomas Annunziata, Nate's dropped back to 8th, Annunziata up to 9th, well, and they're half a second between them. I thought Annunziata had a good car and would come forward.
A few minutes ago, Annunziata was leading Cicero. Annunziata was in 9th and Cicero was in 10th. So now Cicero's managed to leapfrog Annunziata again and get back up to 8th. So that is a change. That's going to make tomorrow's work even harder for Annunziata to take home the $80,000 prize for winning Rookie of the Year. Tyler Gonzalez with Sato Motorsport Group, though, that is a very good car. That's the car that actually won the championship a few years ago with Michael Carter. And Tyler knows how to win races. He did it in the first one of the season last year and this year.
Started well for both of those championship seasons. Hadn't had the breaks in the middle of the year. You really can't afford to have a single bad weekend. 1, 2, 3, 4 across the track, and it is Gonzalez that comes down the inside of Johnson, and this is bad for his championship hope. Gresham Wagner alongside that blue car. That's the battle for position as they come up towards turn 2. That's brave. Up on the curb there can be very dangerous. You can spear off to the right-hand side if you just apply the throttle slightly too much.
Wagner's left side mirror, his driver's side mirror, completely folded in, providting him no idea of who's behind him.
Well, yes.
Unless he reaches back out.
I was going to say he should be able to reach out and get that down towards turn 1 at the beginning of this lap. Johnson pulled out, trying to overtake Jared Thomas. Jared Thomas overtook Celine Roland, and Tyler Gonzalez in the 35 overtook Aaron Johnson in that blue car. All right, did you get all that? Did you write it down? I'm asking questions later.
I'll be ready for the test later. Tyler Gonzalez is a guy who's ready for the test. He was very excited to come back and race here in this series this weekend because last year he finished 3rd and 1st in the 2 races. So he is a very capable driver for the Sato Motorsports Group to put behind the wheel of their car.
Now, this is dangerous for Aaron Johnson because there's a leading trio beginning to make a break. And one of those two is Jared Thomas, the championship leader. He really cannot allow this to happen if he wants to stay in with a chance of hauling in that number 96 car and its driver in the championship. Hickson leads from JTR in 2nd, from Hickson in 3rd, from Saito Motorsport Group and Tyler Gonzalez in 4th. Then Johnson in the dark blue JTR Motorsports engineering machine. Gresham Wagner is in 6th. Robert Noecker in the number 13, the black and white car, in 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. It is Nate Cicero, Thomas Annunziata and Jean Douane. And main time at the front of the field. I thought there was going to be change of lead. There wasn't. Connor Zilic holds on in that number 72 car through the S's.
I thought there was going to be carnage, and there wasn't. Very glad to see all the cars still going around because that was quite the moment for our championship leader, Jared Thomas.
Jared Thomas down the inside to turn 1. Nice clean manoeuvre. So sneaked the lead for a moment, but couldn't hold on to it as they started this current lap. So 2 changes of position in the first 2 corners of this lap.
And it's not every time you regain the lead that you get the advantage. It's every time that you're leading when you cross the start-finish line.
Right.
So that doesn't give any sort of advantage to Jared Thomas.
Down the back straight, through the kink. A little bit of bump drafting going on. Thomas on the lead at number 72. Connor Zilic for Hickson Motorsport. It's Johnson down the inside this time of Celine Roland, who was 3rd as they crossed the line to start this lap. He's going to be, I think, 4th, maybe even 5th, as here comes Gresham Wagner, and he's pulling Robert Noecker through as well. That's a great manoeuvre by Noecker. Down through the final corner, saw the opportunity as Gresham Wagner opened the door, and he got his foot in it and followed him through. Marvellous stuff there from Noecker. And the number 13 Robert Noecker Racing Machine is up to, what's that, 5th or 6th position. They've changed again, even as I took my eyes off it.
Do you remember how in practice I said Connor Zilic and Tyler Gonzalez were here for one thing only, and that's basically to steal glory and points away from the championship contenders? Well, right now, Connor Zilic is a half a lap away from stealing 10 points from Aaron Johnson for leading the most laps.
Great manoeuvre by Gresham Wagner, but what an opportunistic piece of driving by Robert Noecker in the black and white number 13 as he went down the inside on the final corner. That is not easy. You've got to have confidence in yourself and your car, but also you've got to trust and respect the guy you're going through. Cicero, this is our rookie championship leader, and somehow he does not hit the wall as he's off the circuit at turn 7. He's square across the road. No, reverse.
Ooh, Nate, wow. That's the wrong way on the racetrack. There we go.
Wow, that car had better turning circle than I expected it for the lead. And there's a touch there. And that is Gresham Wagner going around. He's backwards, he's forwards. He's forwards, he's backwards, he spins, and he doesn't hit anybody before going into the beach at the bottom of the hill. That's extraordinary. There's 2 drivers who should be putting the Powerball on this weekend, because that is two very, very lucky incidents there.
And the other driver involved in that who did not wind up spinning around the wrong direction was Celine Roland, who continues around, and he somehow is still in 4th position. But for the first time this race, we have a new leader, one Mr. Tyler Gonzalez.
Oh, thank you.
And that means that Jean-Som and Zilich are tied for most laps led. So let's see if you can do for Tyler.
Connor Zilich second, Jared Thomas in third in the red car with the yellow rollover hoop. So Tyler Gonzalez with that green stripe on the hood has come through. Right, let's go back to what happened coming out of turn number 7. A wild ride for Nate Cicero. Ran out of curb and onto the dirt coming out of 7.
That was a bucking bronco for him.
It really was. Just ran a tiny little bit wide, tried to take a little bit too much speed through 7. He's across the track, he straightens the wheel up, and that actually stops him. Really good piece of driving. Then 3 wide with 2 behind trying to get involved. Tyler Gonzalez in the lead, Celine Roland and Gresham Wagner with a backwards foot. That would have looked great on Dancing with the Stars. I'm not certain what kind of manoeuvre that was, but he had 2 wheels up in the air at one stage. He half rotates one way, half rotates the other. In fact, no, does a full rotation the other, and another rotation. So that's a half rotation clockwise, 2 rotations anti-clockwise, and then he nailed the landing. That was fantastic.
I don't know whose onboard is going to be better, Celine Roland or Gresham Wagner.
What if he's been taking driving instruction from Simone Biles? That was absolutely stunning.
Back to the lead for Connor Zilich. He led that lap, meaning he now gets the 10 bonus points for leading the most laps, keeping this running tally going. But into second, Tyler Gonzalez. Third is Jared Thomas. Fourth, Celine Roland. Fifth, Robert Noaker. And sixth, Aaron Johnson. 6-car battle for the lead of this race.
And then there is a little bit of a gap to Thomas Annunziata, who's worked his way up from outside the top 10 to 7th and leads the rookie standings at the moment. And of course, with that big spin from Nate Cicero, Nate has dropped down to 20th. And so that's 6, 7, 8. I think that's 8th in the rookie championship.
All Annunziata needs to do is stay calm, because he's going to get back a bunch of points that he had lost to Cicero, as long as he doesn't throw it away.
Well, he's got Jean Jourdouin behind him, who's not in the rookie championship. Then Spark Performance Grant West is another 2.3 seconds behind. Now, he's in the championship, but basically he's got 2 seconds between himself and the next rookie. This has got to be a smart drive for the last 23 minutes from Thomas Annunziata.
No pressure, don't do anything, go to your happy place, stay zen. That's what the crew needs to be saying on the radio to Thomas Annunziata. And guess what? He's with the right crew to do that, because Hickson Motorsport won Rookie of the Year last year.
Roland this time tries to go around the outside at the bottom of the hill at turn 11. Then he cuts back, takes the curb on the inside. Little bunny hop from the brightly coloured number 87. Here comes Jared Thomas, who seems like he was leading just a pico second to go. Was down into 5th for the moment. Now gets back to 3rd. Side by side, Roland in the multicoloured car. And the black and white number 13. Remember, that's Robert Noaker. He's going to try up the inside at turn 1, thinks better of it. And now right at the back of that 6-car group, the man that has led many laps already today, Aaron Johnson, 2nd in the championship. The blue car up the inside at turn 2. That's a classic manoeuvre, but he gets a little tap and he hits the number 13 car. And bad luck for the driver of the number 13, Robert Noaker, who I thought was going to save it. That was the pause. I thought he sort of had it. There was a little clip, Noaker onto Johnson, that put Johnson wide, and as Johnson bounced across the track. So Johnson up the inside. That's a clean manoeuvre. There's a little clip actually on the exit of turn 2. Then the bunny hop over the curb, and the big air from Robert Noaker in the 13. For a moment, he must have thought he'd saved it, but those tyre barriers just gently brought him in. And that is very unlucky. Hard racing, but showing you, Shea Adam, just how close to the ragged edge these cars are, because that was the tiniest touches between the blue number 24 and the white number 13 that set all that in motion.
It was, and there wasn't malintent from either of those drivers, so I really hope that race control doesn't allow that to decide the championship, because that could be a championship deciding moment. It is under review from race control, so we'll keep an eye on that as Connor Zilic leads yet another lap. His tally now up to 6. Tyler Gonzalez looking down the inside to try and make the move into turn 1, cannot get it done, settles back into second, but that's going to open up the door for Jared Thomas. Now, does Jared take the opportunity, or does he appreciate the fact that his championship rival is further back?
Gresham Wagner and Celine Roland came together as well a wee bit earlier. That is also being looked at. That was when we saw that sideways, backwards, round and round that we had from Gresham Wagner and Spark Performance. He's got the fastest lap of the race, though, Gresham.
Oh.
So that's some points. That's big damage for Robert Noaker. He's coming through. We'll see that number 13 pit this time around. He's trying to stay out of the way, but he needs to cut across the circuit under the Fox Factory Bridge as he comes back in that Robert Noaker racing machine. Important
to note also that he came into this race 5th in the championship, so this could cost him actual money.
Good news is that the pit lane entrance is drivers left for this championship. The main race uses the new, I still call it the new pits, on the right-hand side. Most people who here have never seen it.
I've
use the other
known
one, like you, Cher. Yes, don't even go there. At the front of the field, and then there were 4.
For now, there are 4. I think that's more apt to say, because we have just under 20 minutes remaining of this race, meaning that anything can and probably will happen. And now Thomas Annunziata finds himself in 5th place, and just off the back of this leading quartet trying to fight it out for the lead of the race. Tyler Gonzalez goes through for first position, brings with him Jared Thomas, and all of a sudden Connor Zilic finds himself in 3rd, and right behind him his sister car, Celine Roland, so he won't be feeling too badly. Right now, JTR and Sato looking like they're going to have to work together to stay ahead of Hickson.
Anthony McIntosh, who started pretty much towards the back, certainly on the back row of the grid, has brought the 69 JTR car up into 16th position. His best lap is a 1:37.8. That will set his grid position for the second race, because he lost his 2 fastest laps, and because of red flags, he caused one of the red flags, and because of that, he didn't have a time that counted in qualifying. So that will be his qualifying time at the moment, unless he can go even quicker in the next 18.5 minutes.
You mean like Gresham Wagner has done with the 1:36.960, the best lap of the race for him. But Jean Chaudouin, massive round of applause to the driver of the race caddy MX-5 out there, number 39, because his best time is 1:39.972. It's a rare day when you're 100th off Gresham Wagner.
Yeah, you're doing it right. Gonzalez is dropping away from the lead 3, but brakes super late, and JTR is back at the head of the field.
This is the first lap that Jared Thomas will have led from start to, well, not start to finish, but across the finish line, because so far he has 0 credited to his name.
4 cars then back together as Gonzalez gets a really good run through the final corner, immediately pulls out to the right-hand side because he didn't want to have to lift his foot off and lose any of the momentum given to him by the 180 horsepower 4-cylinder 2-litre Mazda engine. Straight stock engine, sealed before the cars are transformed into these fantastic racing machines. Over 250 bespoke racing parts going onto these cars, but not the engine. That's exactly as it would be in terms of its specification and output, is if you went to your local Mazda dealer and drove one out of the showroom. Plenty of differences, though, with the fire suppression system, the other safety devices, including the rollover cage, and, of course, the sequential SADEV gearbox, flat upshift, flat downshift, or at least auto blip downshift, although some of the drivers still do like to slightly do their own blip just to take some of the pressure off the driveline of these cars.
They give it extra encouragement.
Yes, that's right. Plus, it's pretty cool, actually, if you can just do that little blip with the outside of your right foot. Here comes Thomas then, down towards one of our action areas that we picked out some 17, 18 minutes ago. He slightly defends to the middle of the road. Celine Roland trying to go down the inside. Passes 1, passes 2. Manoeuvre of the race so far. Now, there is a great pass from Celine Roland. I'm not sure he planned to take both of those cars. He was looking for second, but there was just enough space down the inside of Jared Thomas. So it'll be Celine Roland who is credited as leading another lap.
Our 6th driver of the race to lead a lap, and we still have a third of the race to go. So who else wants to come play at the front of this one? Anyone?
Tyler Gonzalez is moved back up into 3rd. That's pushed Connor Zilic down into 4th in that black fronted car with the bright green door mirrors and the green decals on the side. That's one of the Hickson cars. So Hickson from JTR, from Saito Motorsport, from Hickson. Those are the leaders. And now they've stretched out to 3.5 seconds to Thomas Annunziata, who's still got Jean Jodoin about 1/10 behind him. Then Aaron Johnson has a little bit of a lead before there's another gap. Alex Pachura has fought his way through into 8th position for Spark Performance. He's got his Spark Performance rookie teammate, Grant West, and the 50 car right behind him. And then it's JTR's Woody Hyman making up the top 10. That's another little group that are having a great scrap. That number 33, Alex Pachura, in the military colours there.
Can I give a quick live points update? If Jared Thomas stays in second, as it stands, it is enough to claim the championship.
Right.
But if he drops back to 3rd and Aaron Johnson stays in 7th, it's not enough. He would be short by 10 points because Johnson could get it tomorrow. If he takes maximum points, we're assuming all the cars that started today's race will start tomorrow, meaning we would have a field of 28, meaning the maximum amount of points from all the cars would be 350. So we need at least a 350 points gap between the number 96 and the 24.
Tyler Gonzalez pulls out of the draft, thinks about the dive up the inside to the first corner, the uphill, the rising right-hander. Little wobble from the JTR, red number 96, just had to cover the brake to try and get that car back under control. It's cost him 1 position, might cost him 2 as the 72 of Connor Zilic tries to go to the left, then to the right, but drops back in. That's a great gain for Celine Roland, who all of a sudden has 3 MX-5 lengths on the new second place driver, Tyler Gonzalez. Just want to say about that points situation as it stands. That Aaron Johnson has got half a second on the 4-car battle pack behind him, but he's 5.5 seconds away from Jean Jodoin and Thomas Annunziata in respectively 6th and 5th position. Now he's got 13.5 minutes to go. Is his car in a good enough state at the moment after the slight rubbing that we've had? That number 24 machine, the dark blue car, can he start to gain on them? On the evidence of the last lap, the answer would be no, because he was doing a 38.3 and Jean Jodoin and Thomas Annunziata both doing high 37s, so 3 and 4/10 away.
The lead is about to change because the leader has been given an incident responsibility penalty with Gresham Wagner, 10 seconds post-race. So we need to keep that in mind. It's not a drive-through.
Right.
It will be added to the end of the race. Aaron Johnson is currently 9 seconds behind the lead. That moves Roland behind Johnson.
Wow.
But he still can't claim the bonus points for leading the most laps.
Yeah.
He's got 3 so far. Connor Zilic has 8. Oh, and very happy to say that the incident between Noaker and Johnson has been reviewed. No further action.
Okay. That was the one at the top of turn 2 and 3.
Thank you, race control, for being so speedy.
Yeah, well done. 12.5 minutes still to go. So that was the incident that saw the number 5 of Gresham Wagner spinning first one way, then the other, down towards the big gravel beach at the bottom of the hill at turns 9 and 10. Or 10 and 11, should I say. And that has left Gresham Wagner down in 13th position. Still credited with the fastest lap with a 1:36.9, so that will get him some points, but he should have been battling with the top group. 24 with the right-hand mirror folded in is Aaron Johnson, and he's got to try and make some ground on those cars ahead of him. At the moment, he is not doing that. He's still 5, nearly 6 seconds away. He's pulled away a little bit from Alex Pachura behind him in the 33, which is the military-coloured car. But Jean Jourdain and Thomas Annunziata are still tantalisingly out of reach. Thomas Annunziata actually has done a couple of decent laps. He's pulled out 0.3 of a second now from Jourdain in that battle for 5th and 6th. Top rookie Annunziata then beginning to just consolidate his position as the lead for lap.
Ben Keating.
Ben Keating, who's back out of the pits.
And that was a very classy move by Ben to move out of the way for his teammate, because for a second there, Tyler Gonzalez, who went to the lead of the race, was thinking, oh no, I don't want to be scuppered by my team car out there. Ben Keating out and circulating before laps behind the lead battle. After
that incident at turn 5 in the opening couple or 3 laps. So the number 19 laps down is the white car behind this leading pack of 4 as they head to the furthest part of the circuit away from our commentary box. Just a little wiggle from the leader, Tyler Gonzalez. Just having to put a tiny little bit of corrective steering lock in as he turned in to 7 there onto the longest, fastest, possibly the most important straight. So therefore turn 7 is the most important corner, you would say. Give you the opportunity to overtake down the hill into the complex, the natural amphitheatre that at the weekend for the 26th Petit Le Mans will be absolutely packed right throughout the whole of the 10 hours. The other teams, drivers and series watching as we are with bated breath for the last 10 minutes or so of this, the penultimate round of the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by BF Goodrich for 2023. Into turn 1, another action area, and through goes Connor Zilic to take 3rd place. Jared Thomas down to 4th, but scoring good points. And at the moment, he knows that one of the cars ahead of him, even if they finish as they are, he will finish 3rd as it stands.
If he finishes where he is on the racetrack, that is not enough to secure the championship over his teammate by 10 points. Jared Thomas needs to be 1 position further up, or for Aaron Johnson to be 1 position further back.
Well, Aaron Johnson is now in 8th position, and he'll stay in 8th position as it stands because he's 11.6 seconds behind the car that's going to take the penalty. So it's only a 10-second penalty.
But he's only a 1/4 of a second behind the car ahead of him.
Well, yes. Oh, and off has gone the very pretty yellow and blue number 50.
That's Grant West.
At turn 5.
And then DaCosta going off in sympathy, it looked like. Julian DaCosta managing to continue. Now, can the 50 get going, or is this going to cause a full course caution and give us a shootout for the end of this race?
Grant West was battling with Alex Bachura and Woody Hyman and Gresham Wagner at the bottom end of the top 10. In fact, he was in 10th position as they went across the line. Looks to be damage to the right rear suspension, and I'm not sure. Oh, no, he has managed to get it going. He's right in the firing line of the top of 5. Now, maybe he's okay. Meantime, the leaders with Celine Roland, Hickson Motorsport. He needs to get up the road as much as possible. 2 pairs of cars going through turn 1 into turn 2, and through goes Zilic again, and he drags JTR and the 96 car of Jared Thomas with him. That's the championship right there. Signed, sealed, well, and on its way, if not delivered.
Connor Zilic read that moment perfectly.
He did.
He took advantage of everything exactly as he needs to. As Robert Noaker, no, that's not Robert Noaker, that's number 25, staying out of the way. Brian Heitman, very classy move from him. But Connor Zilic in the championship this year has already gotten 2 races where he's gotten 2 wins. In both of those races, he led the most laps and took the fastest lap of the race honors. Well, guess who's led the most laps in this one? Connor Zilic. Does he have anything to bank out another fastest lap and then
so
complete
close.
his trifecta?
He's so close. His best lap was a 36.997. He needs a 36.960. In fact, he needs better than that, so a 36.959. So he's very, very close. The pace is in the car, but how much performance has he got in the BF Goodrich tyres as Zilic leads down through the complex, under the Fox Factory Bridge, and to complete another lap.
He won the first race here last year. Just saying.
I'm still saying Tyler Gonzalez in 4th position at the moment. I think he's played a very canny race. He's done his turn at the front of the field. He knows where he's strong. Looks like he's got decent setup on that car. He's not having to use as much road as the other cars around him. I think he saved a little bit of grip by just sitting in there. These cars don't have all the aerodynamic aids of some of the other IMSA classes, but they do, because they're an open top car, they do make a big hole in the air, so the draft is strong in this championship. Is Zilic getting away through the S's? Beautiful part of the racetrack, all about rhythm there. Just riding the curb as they come out of 5 over the top of the brow, heading to turn 6. Pick your braking point here. Very quick at turn 6. There's a slight bit of banking, a bit of camber in your favour. Drop down into that ball, take the inside curb, set up for turn 7. Get the car slowed down and then get hard on the throttle. Use the curb on the exit onto a curving straight, if that makes sense. Contradiction in terms there, but turn 8 is effectively just a kink, as is turn 9. And then it's 10, 11 and 12 to finish off. These 4 now a comfortable 6 seconds ahead of Jean Chaudrin. He's got ahead of Thomas Annunziata, but Annunziata still leads the rookie class. So that's smart driving, I think, by Annunziata. Clearly, Chaudrin reeled him back in, but didn't need to fight with that. He needs the big points haul. Nate Cicero, with that incident and mistake earlier on, has dropped down. I think he's in 6th position at the moment in the rookie category.
18th overall. It's not the day that Nate Cicero was hoping it would be when he woke up this morning.
5 minutes to go, under that in fact now, Shea.
Should be 3 laps after this one?
Yeah, it just depends when they cross the line. Exactly. But yeah, it's going to be something like that.
It'll be close.
So we're talking somewhere in the region of probably 8 or 9 miles still to go in this race.
Okay, so Jared Thomas needs to not do anything silly, let's say. If he sits where he is, the gap back to John Somm should be enough. 2nd place points to 6th place points is a 70-point difference. So you add that on, he should be okay.
It's Christian Hodenland for Hickson Motorsports that's about to go a lap down in front of the leading 4. Stays across to driver's right. The number 17 car is Joe Rainey for Robert Noaker Racing. He'll be caught towards the end of this lap as well. Jared Thomas wants to take this championship in style. He's looking for the lead here. He's going to dodge out to the left-hand side. No, but here comes Gonzalez in the white car with the green flashes into 3rd position. Tyler Gonzalez maybe just feeling that the leading 2 were getting away there, repositions himself for what will be 2 more laps. Depends when they cross the line.
They are turning lap times of 1 minute and 37 seconds, so it's going to be really close if we get 2 laps or 3 more. But Jared Thomas, patience, please, Jared. You're making me nervous.
Tyler Gonzalez, I thought he had some performance left. He's just turned his fastest lap of the race. He might have paced himself and his BF Goodrich tyres absolutely perfectly here.
White flag next time by, confirmation from race control.
Right, okay. So 2 to go as it stands. It will be the last lap next time around. Now, you do have pits to car radio here. As nice driving by Joe Rainey. Make sure that the leaders all are on the racing line. So you'll be telling your drivers now it's white flag. In the heat of battle, staring at the back of the car in front of you, working out where you are. Easy, perhaps, to miss that white flag being waved from the starter stand in front of the Michelin Tower. How much of these guys got left? Gonzalez is right there, you know. And he's tracking the 2 leaders, staying in the draft. Does he go now or does he wait till the last lap? He's not quite close enough here unless there's a kerfuffle in front of him. Jared Thomas feigns to go down the inside into the left-hander at the bottom of the hill. Here comes Gonzalez. Gonzalez gets a great run out of the chicane, under the Fox Factory Bridge. That made Jared Thomas defend there as he came down through to start the final lap, being led by the number 72 of Connor Zilic. He's defending in the middle of the road now. Jared Thomas goes to the right, will cut back. Here comes Gonzalez. He'll get the better run off the hill. Watch the white car here, Shay.
This is going to be a do or die moment for Jared Thomas's championship. He needs to stay patient to be the first ever repeat champion in this series history. Can he do it, or will he give in to Tyler Gonzalez's pressure?
Thomas Annunziata in 8th position. Aaron Johnson in 7th, Max Opalski in 6th, John Chadouin in 5th, Celine Roland on the back of this lead group has a 10-second penalty. He's going to drop down to... Actually, he's only going to drop down a place, I think.
Yeah, but that'll move John Chadouin inside the top 4 for the first time this year.
He might even not drop down a place because Jean Chadouin at the moment is 10.4 seconds behind this battle. So that's going to be crucial for Celine Roland if he's going to keep a top 4 finish. Here comes Jared Thomas on the last lap, pulls out. I think he's got the lead. He has got the lead. He had enough. And Tyler Gonzalez pushes him through, follows through in the train. Now, who is going to do the big overtake?
Tyler.
Here's Gonzalez. I think he's got the grip. I think he's held on to his tyres. The BF Goodriches say, yep, we can do that. This has been a brilliant race, and it's not over yet. As round the outside comes Connor Zilic in the black car. It's 4 cars, 3 steps on the podium, and only 1 winner. And that one winner will be Connor Zilic as he comes through. He went down to 3rd position with 2 corners to go, but wins the second to last race of the Idemitsu Mazda MX-5 Cup season by a, well, in Mazda terms, quite a big gap, 0.144 of a second. The top 4 separated by under half a second. Zilic will stand on the top step. Tyler Gonzalez second. Jared Thomas third. Celine Roland by a 1/10 of a second will hold on to 4th position even with his 10-second penalty. It'll be Jean Chadouin for Macumbi Makalia in 5th, Max Opalski in 6th, Aaron Johnson in 7th, Annunziata, Bachura and Fletcher for the top 10. What a run down the hill. I thought Gonzalez had done enough in the 35. Had saved a bit of grip from his tyres. He was fine. He was blocking off Jared Thomas. What he didn't see was Connor Zilic coming round his left-hand side, round the outside. Another brilliant manoeuvre in a season that has been full of magnificent overtakes.
It's not enough. Jared Thomas is not our champion. He is not crowned tonight because there is a 340-point gap back to Aaron Johnson, and the maximum points available tomorrow if 28 cars start, 350.
Who got the points for most laps led?
Zilic.
Right, okay, so that wasn't part of the championship. Gresham Wagner gets the points for fastest lap.
Haven't factored in where Gresham finished yet, but he's further down in the championship as well.
Yeah, but he's got the points for fastest lap, so neither of the 2 major championship contenders got them, so no bonus points to be awarded there to the leading pair. Well, what a race. Congratulations to Thomas Annunziata, by the way, who came through from outside the top 10 to 8th position at the end and is the best of the rookies. And that will close the gap on Nate Cicero, who had that incident. It started before the green flag with all kinds of rubbing. Ben Keating in the tyres at turn 5. Gresham Wagner performing, well, almost somersaults, but certainly multiple spins. Nate Cicero spun away a chance of the best, but at the front of the field, Connor Zilic wins it, and Jared Thomas has to wait till tomorrow to be crowned champion.